All right, welcome back. So this section, what I want to do is show you how to add that background image to the home section and start to send her some content as well. So I'm back in Photoshop now and I need to export this image. I've got my hero image folder. Inside here, I actually have a tint layer. I've got the hero image and it's clipped to a container. So I'm simply going to right click on the hero image folder, that layer group, and I'm going to export as. Because it's a photograph, I want to make sure it's a JPEG. And there's the hero image. By default, Photoshop tells me it's a PNG, so I'm going to simply choose JPEG. I'm going to change the quality from 100% to 60 because it's just a background image and I can get away with it. The width is 1400, the height is 700. Oh, good to note that. I have to change that in my CSS file. And I can export this image, export all. I'm going to put it inside my images folder. Make sure that I change that to be like hero-image. Or maybe I want to change it to be home-background. And that way I know this is the background for the home. Save that image inside my images file or inside my images folder. Great. And I'm done with Photoshop. So now I can go back into brackets. And here I am inside the home section. I don't need to change anything yet here in the home section, but I do need to come into the home section over here and make sure that the home is now at 500 pixels tall, which means I'll have to change the height of my key message, but we'll worry about that in a minute. I'm going to delete the background color because now I have the background image. So I definitely type in background, find the background dash image, and choose URL. Right now I'm inside my CSS file folder, so this CSS file is inside the CSS folder, so I need to go back a directory, which is .. And now all of a sudden I can see my images folder, the CSS folder, JavaScript folder, and my index file. I want to find the images folder, and automatically it tells me that there's one image in here, so I'm going to select that. So I've got that background image now set inside the home, and I want to make sure that this image doesn't repeat, so I want to make sure I get to the background repeat and tell it not to repeat. Save that file and preview it in the web browser. Scroll all the way up to the top, refresh. Great. That's what it looks like. All these areas here are covering it only because I have a background color. So if I want to go back into brackets now, I can start to get rid of some of those colors. So the header, I don't need the background color to be aqua. That's just for me to test and see where the files are. I can delete the logo background color, the navigation background color, and the key message background color. And now I can also add 200 pixels to the height of the key message. Add 200, so 650, save that. And then when I preview this back inside the web browser again, I can see that my content is centered in there. Great. I'm not going to worry about the logo too much in designing that. What I will do is start to go back to Photoshop, and I'm going to oh sure, I'm going to design it because I have to. Okay, so back inside brackets, inside the logo, I'm going to replace where it says logo and paste in my Ozio design, and I'm going to set this as just a heading 2 inside of the logo area. So now inside the logo area, I actually have my logo, and I can go inside here and say, great, hashtag logo, and inside that hashtag logo, when there's a heading 2, I need to make sure that this font is a yellow, so I'm going to change the color to a yellow. And I can simply go into Photoshop, just like we looked at in class, and if I right-click, copy the CSS from Photoshop, I can go back into brackets, and I can start to paste that information in here. So I'm going to get rid of this, get rid of this. I don't need the position left or top. I don't need the text align. I don't need the line height. But it's great. I now have the font family, font weight, the color. I tend to like to arrange things like this. So all the fonts are together, and the color is on its own line, and Montserrat is the font. So if I go back and I can preview this now, I can see what it looks like. And I can tell that this image actually has, yeah, the box is not big enough, so I'm going to go back and change the box. So for the logo, I'm going to make the box 400, see if that works. 400 easily works, so I'm going to change that to 350. Make sure it's tight enough, and that's pretty good for right now. All right, so that's how I do it. I still would want to go in and add some margin or padding and push this away from the edge, but just to show you how that looks really quick. And in the navigation, you definitely want to create your navigation as an unordered list. So I'll just create this really quickly, an unordered list with a list item and a link around each one of these. So I'm putting the ahref tag. And I can go back, and the navigation is home, portfolio, about, and contact, which follows the layout of the entire website. So I'm going to put home as my first navigation title. Portfolio is my second one. About as my third. And contact. All right, so I now basically have this website set up for the navigation. I now need to go to my navigation, and again, I'm not going to do all the work to make the navigation. You can check the course notes for that, but I want to make sure that I tell the list item that we are going to have a list style of none, and make sure that we tell this to display inline. And I will add a color of white. Preview this in my web browser. There it is. I can see they're all blue with underlines. So I'll just do this. I've got to add a new rule now for the nav. And I'm going to just create a really simple one. And it's just for the link. So when I'm in the navigation, when there's a link, then set the color of that to be white. And it gives me the contrast. And then I can go in and say, great, I said I wasn't going to do this, but now I'm going to do at least a portion of it because it will bug me. And I'm going to remove the text decoration because that'll drive me nuts. And I will grab the font. Now it's in Montserrat. I'm going to add spacing now between all of the words or the list items. So maybe I'll do 15 pixels on the right and 15 pixels on the left, making there 30 pixels in between. So it's coming along. Change the font size. There's the color. And again, the text decoration is none, and I want to add a text transform here to set it all to uppercase so I don't have to go in and manually type it all in. There it is. And just because that drives me nuts, the space isn't there. I know it's not going to be perfect, but we'll just start to say, great, I'm going to have the navigation unordered list, and I'm going to push it down from the top, margin top, and maybe it's 20 pixels. Nope, not 20. Close. Maybe 10 pixels. And that's close enough just to align to the baseline of that. All right, great. So I've got this one partially done. I also noticed that the yellow color didn't come across, so I'm going to make sure that I think that the issue here is that it was done in this. So I'm going to grab this color here from Photoshop. Normally color everything in Photoshop the right color, and that'll make your life easier. So in the logo, I can simply tell the hashtag is going to be this color now, and now it'll more reflect what we have. There you go. So there's a beginning part there. And for centering the content, you just want to look at the key message here and try and center that content quickly for you. Show you a quick tip for that, and hopefully have you on your way. So I'm going to copy this branding and interactive media design, and I'm going to paste that inside the key message area here. So I'm going to have a heading 2 inside here as well. I should make it a heading 1. I think I said in the other video, make it a heading 1. So this is the main thing. Right. Technically, an ampersand in HTML is ampersand AMP semicolon. But here we are in the key message with a heading 1, and I can go down here and say, great, inside the key message, there's a heading 1, make it look like, and again, I'm going to go to Photoshop, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to copy the CSS. I'm going to go back to brackets, and I'm going to paste that in here. And again, I'm going to get rid of a bunch of things I don't need. I don't need all these, and then I'll just copy and paste these together. Font family, font size, font weight, text transform, and I'm just going to choose the audio indent. Save that file, and I can start to see what it looks like. There's what it looks like inside my website. I want to change a few things in here. I want to make sure that interactive media design is on the second line, and I want branding in the ampersands on the first line. I want to center it in the middle of this page. So I'll start with first things first. Back inside my HTML, I'm going to simply add a break, angle bracket BR/, and that's going to do a soft return or a break for me. And that's now what it looks like in the web browser. I want to center it. So how I center it is I've got this key message box, and I want to center the content inside of it. So because if I look back at my design, everything is centered inside here, I can simply go to my key message div box here in the CSS, key message, and I can tell this to text align center. And by adding that code in here, I've centered the entire content of the website for the key message area. And now I can just work on margin and padding and start to push things down. So I can go back inside here and I can say to the key message, maybe I'm going to add some padding in here. Padding from the top, and maybe make it 100 pixels. And you can start to push that content down. All right, that's one way we can start to make these things look like they're working in InDesign, Photoshop, HTML, CSS. Hopefully that gives you a good rounded idea of how to make some of these things work. I look forward to seeing amazing designs from you this week. Bye for now.